Welcome to the Deep Dive. We cut through the noise to give you the key insights. And today, we're doing something a bit different. This specific deep dive, titled AI Daily Deep Dive, well, it was researched and actually generated entirely by AI. It's focused on the top 5 AI news stories from literally today, Thursday, September 25th, 2025.
Yeah, and these are just random stories. If you want like a real snapshot of AI's impact right now across culture, government, even basic science, these 5 really paint the picture.
Okay, let's jump right in then. First up, a pretty troubling one involving artistic integrity, maybe even censorship. There's this Australian body horror film, Together, stars Alison Brie and Dave Franco. What exactly went down with the Chinese release?
Well, the distributor over in China, Hishow, they used AI to fundamentally alter a key scene and showed a same-sex wedding, and they changed it using AI into a heterosexual couple.
Wow, just changed it.
Yep. Censored the original content. Neon, the global distributor, they immediately came out and condemned it as an unauthorized edit.
And this isn't the first time, right? We've seen similar things, edits to shows like Friends in China, even that Bollywood film Ranchana. It really shows how AI can be used for these rapid ideological changes.
Exactly. What's striking is the speed and the precision AI enables for this kind of thing now. It crosses borders instantly.
That's unsettling. Okay, so that's AI enforcing an ideology and culture. Let's pivot now to how the U.S. government might be trying to embed its own ideology into AI systems, this big GSA deal.
Right. This is significant for federal tech access. The General Services Administration, the GSA, just inked a deal with Elon Musk's XAI. Federal agencies are getting access to Grok 4 and Grok 4 Fast. It seems clearly part of the current Trump administration's push to lead in AI globally and, embed Western American values into these systems.
And the detail about the cost is kind of stunning. It provides Grok for government for just 42 cents per agency for 18 months.
Just $1.42.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredibly aggressive pricing. Seems designed to undercut competitors and get XAI, a U.S. company, dominant in federal deployment really fast.
Okay. Speaks volumes about the priority, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Rapid, cheap adoption of domestic AI.
All right, moving from policy to robots in action, Google DeepMind. They've announced Gemini Robotics. What's the core idea here? Is it about smarter robots?
The shift in philosophy, really. Moving away from robots programmed for one specific rigid task. The goal is more general, adaptable intelligence. They're using a 2-model system. There's the Gemini Robotics ER 1.5. That's a vision language model, VLM. Think of it as the brain that understands requests and generates step-by-step instructions in natural language.
Okay, the thinking part.
Right. Then there's Gemini Robotics 1.5, the VLA vision language action model. It takes those instructions from the VLM and actually translates them into physical movements for the robot.
So wait, the really big deal here isn't just a smarter robot arm, it's that the knowledge can transfer. The sources mention skills learned on one robot platform, like the 2-armed Aloha 2, can be used by a totally different one, like the humanoid Apollo, without retraining.
That's exactly it. The interoperability is the key breakthrough. The platform itself almost becomes irrelevant. You train the intelligence, not just the hardware.
That's huge for scaling robotics research. Okay, let's switch gears again. Different kind of action. Back to Hollywood, but this time it's about labor and ethics.
Yeah, there's a major controversy brewing around that massive $100 million adaptation of The Wizard of Oz for the Las Vegas Sphere.
Right, what's the AI angle there?
They use generative AI quite heavily, apparently, to fill out the huge display, but specifically, they used it to digitally resurrect deceased actors.
Resurrect actors, like who?
Charlie Grapewin, the actor who played Uncle Henry in the original 1939 film, they recreated him using AI.
Wow. Okay, I can see why critics are calling it soulless. That raises enormous ethical questions about using someone's likeness when they're not around to consent.
Exactly. It's become a sort of flashpoint.
Sounds like the perfect argument for what SAG-AFTRA is pushing for, that bipartisan No Fakes Act. Trying to get deepfake protections for all performers, not just union ones, right?
Precisely. And, while we're talking about Hollywood and big projects, the environmental cost, the energy and water for all this AI processing, that's still the huge issue nobody seems to be fully addressing yet.
Good point. The elephant in the server room. Okay, finally, let's end on something more fundamental. A neuroscience study from UCLA, just published in Science, comparing mice brains and AI.
Yes, fascinating stuff. They looked at how both mice and AI agents learn to cooperate on tasks that require timing. What they found was pretty striking. Both the mice using a specific brain region, the anterior cingulate cortex or ACC, and the AI agents, they independently developed very similar strategies to succeed.
Similar strategies, like what?
The key one was learning to wait for their partner before acting, especially when the task had a tight deadline, like only 0.75 seconds to coordinate. Both biological brains and AI networks figured out that waiting was crucial for successful cooperation.
So the implication is kind of mind-blowing then. That cooperation itself might follow, like universal computational principles, rules that work whether you're dealing with neurons or silicon.
That seems to be the suggestion. It transcends the specific hardware, biological or artificial. So yeah, quite a range today. We went from AI altering films for political reasons to digital ghosts in Hollywood, the government buying AI based on national values, and now maybe discovering universal laws of cooperation, all in a day's news cycle.
And think about that last point connecting back. If these universal principles govern cooperation in both mice and AI, well, it means those Grok systems the GSA just bought might be operating on some of the same fundamental cooperative mechanics as a mouse brain. So here's the thought to leave you with. If AI and biology really do learn to cooperate using the same core rules, where does artificial end and something more universal begin? Especially when we start deploying those systems built on those principles for things like government efficiency and decision making, what does that really mean for us? Something to think about until next time.